Kazakhstan and India intend to bring mutually beneficial cooperation to a new level. At the meeting in Akorda, the two leaders have launched 26 new investment projects. SCO can now be called as Shanghai Group of Eight. The document on admitting new members was adopted by the SCO member states in Ufa. Greek pension system reform. Tsipras government progressed in their demands and hopes on favor of creditors. Grand Leisure show a new Guinness World Record. Kazakhstanis celebrate the 17th anniversary of Astana. Celebrations exceeded all expectations of visitors from the regions and representatives of foreign states.
Good evening, I'm Rahim Ashakbayev, and this is Kazakhstan Weekly, where we summarize the major local and international news of the past week. Our tonight's guest is a known public figure, Ali Akhmetov. Mr. Akhmetov, I'm glad to see you. India and Kazakhstan have launched the first joint exploration well in the Caspian Sea and have agreed to work closely on the North-South International Transport Corridor project. These are the main results of the official visit of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Astana, where the two leaders came to a consensus that the fast-growing economies of India and Kazakhstan should work jointly.
The visit was more like a meeting of two old friends. Over 2 days spent here, the Indian Prime Minister admitted that he already managed to fall in love with Astana, although it was his first visit to Kazakhstan. Nursultan Nazarbayev personally gave a tour to Akorda to Narendra Modi. Both leaders agreed Kazakhstan and India are friendly countries despite the distance. Kazakhstan established its diplomatic relations with India in 1992. The two countries' trade turnover is constantly growing. Nearly 500 Kazakh-Indian joint enterprises are registered in Kazakhstan. Indian investments in Kazakhstan have exceeded 200 million. Both country leaders are committed to strengthening economic ties as they have agreed to work together on implementing 26 new investment projects. This will allow launching the production of a photovoltaic modules manufacturing plant, a new gas turbine power plant, and a steel mill in Kazakhstan. A new joint solar power plant will be opened on the territory of India. The parties have also reached an agreement on cooperation in the energy sector. Kazakhstan will deliver 5,000 tons of concentrated uranium to India until 2019. During a special teleconference, the two leaders launched the first exploration well in Satpayev field in Atara region. The Indian companies are going to invest at least 400 million in exploration of activities. The Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi also expressed hope that Central Asia will join the North-South International Transport Corridor. For this purpose, in August, a meeting of the Coordinating Council will be held to take necessary decisions to facilitate the use of the corridor for trade between the countries. The parties have also agreed to link Kazakhstan-Turkmenistan-Iran railway road to North-South Transit Corridor. We wanted to build good relations with India during the years of independence. Now a new stage begins. Transportation issues were an obstacle. However, we got connected with the West Indian ports in Mudra through the new road in Iran.
Kazakhstan is our biggest economic partner in the region, but our relations are modest compared to our potential. We will work together to take economic ties to a new level.
So, Mr. Akhmetov, as we can see that India is quite active in the Central Asia, and Mr. Narendra Modi is visiting Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan after Kazakhstan. So what is your opinion on this activity of India? Or maybe we should talk about geopolitical ambitions of India in this region.
Yeah, we should underline that India has increased its activity in Central Asian area. Earlier, it was quite different, and it is quite understandable. First of all these countries, Central Asian countries, are landlocked countries. And none of us, including Kazakhstan, had direct access to world seas and oceans. But now there is a different situation in this area. What I mean is Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan jointly has completed the construction of North-South Railway through Turkmenistan to Iran, and now all the Central Asian countries have direct access to the Gulf, first of all, and through the Gulf to the world oceans, including the Indian Oceans. And now, in connection with this situation, India is trying to restore its former relationship with these countries, including Kazakhstan. And During his meeting with our president, very many documents have been signed, as you know, and now India is keenly interested in importing concentrated uranium. About 5,000 tons of uranium will be exported to India. And I think it is the only way to transport using north-south railway. See? And besides that, India is keenly interested in energy sector. For example, using conference call, both leaders launched, for example, one oil field in Atro area. That means India is also interested in oil sector and gas sector. And besides that, there are very many other areas, and about, I think, 200 joint ventures are already functioning between Kazakhstan and India. And I think India is committed to build a steel plant in Kazakhstan, also some other plants in Kazakhstan, and so is Kazakhstan also interested in developing business in India. Now I think it is the right time and the right place to begin to start, and that's why before his visit to Ufa as a BRICS member, the Prime Minister of India paid a special visit to Kazakhstan and had very serious negotiations with our president. Now, as you have mentioned, he's also going to visit other Central Asian countries. I think we should evaluate his visit as a positive visit, and it will bring positive results not only to India but also to all the Central Asian countries, including Kazakhstan.
Maybe it's also worth to say that we have a successful story working with Indian businessmen.
Absolutely. And on the other hand, later perhaps we'll return to this issue in the further discussions. For example, India is becoming a member of Shanghai
Cooperation Organization. We're going to talk about this later.
We'll talk about it, and that's why very many areas to be discussed.
Two more countries have joined the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. India and Pakistan will soon become full members of this international organization. This decision was preceded by many hours of discussions. SCO member states have different views. For example, at the SCO summit in Ufa, the president of Uzbekistan, Islam Karimov, said that admitting the country, which has nuclear weapons, is a hasty decision. The leader of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, is more upbeat about this decision. He said he believed that India and Pakistan's joining the SCO would help the two countries improve their bilateral relations. Kazakh President Nazarbayev has welcomed the new members of the organization.
The BRICS and the SCO held their summits one after the other in Ufa, the capital of Bashkortostan, this week. Nursultan Nazarbayev participated in both events. The president of Kazakhstan suggested that the SCO and BRICS could become a common free trade area in the future, which, according to Nazarbayev, would give the explosive growth of mutual trade between the members of the association. The president also emphasized that the tandem of the BRICS and the SCO would allow strengthening the member countries' measures to combat terrorism significantly. A huge number of new ideas and important announcements were made at the BRICS summit. The leaders of Russia, China, India, Brazil, and South Africa accomplished a great deal of work during the meeting. Such agreements as the Declaration of Ufa, a memorandum of cooperation with New BRICS Development Bank, and a document on the establishment of a common website have been concluded. The BRICS summit gradually shifted to an expanded meeting of the SCO heads of states. The organization's structure has undergone several changes. India and Pakistan recently became SCO participants. India and Pakistan's admission to the SCO caused a lot of issues and led many hours of discussions between the participants of the extended meeting. Pakistan's nuclear arsenal posed another stumbling block for the group to reach across-the-board consensus. However, despite the long discussions, it was decided to admit the new members to the organization. In addition, Belarus was awarded observer status in the SCO. Armenia, Azerbaijan, Cambodia, and Nepal joined the SCO as dialogue partners. At the summit, state leaders approved the Shanghai Cooperation Organization development strategy until 2025, as Uzbekistan took over the presidency of the SCO. We fully support the decision to start the procedures of granting India and Pakistan full membership into the SCO. The international parity, experience, and economic capacity of India and Pakistan will be huge for the future prospects of our organization.
So, Mr. Akhmetov, in your opinion, the accession of India and Pakistan into SCO promote dialogue between these two countries or not?
I would say yes, because first of all, we should take into consideration India and Pakistan. They have common history and common heritage. You see, historically, these two countries were one country, if you remember. Later, Pakistan became an independent country, but they have very many things in common in culture and in historical heritage, a lot of common heritage. And this is one thing. On the other hand, of course, there is a dispute between India and Pakistan, I mean the Kashmir area. And because of Kashmir, a lot of wars took place between the two countries. And now these two countries are nuclear countries. Both of them have nuclear weapons. And Islam Karimov's speech meant that it is a hasty decision to include these two countries into the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. But on the other hand, these two countries have been waiting for their turn a lot of time already. See, they had observer status in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and not only these two countries, Afghanistan, Mongolia are also waiting for their turn to be accepted to this union. But in Ufa, for example, in this summit, final decision have been made, and India and Pakistan will be full-fledged members of the organization. And Putin's assessment, I think, is very serious. If these two countries come together to the round table discussion, they will eliminate all the discrepancies between these two countries, you see. And peaceful decisions will be made, because Shanghai Cooperation Organization, first of all, it was created as an institute to provide security. But now, Shanghai Cooperation Organization makes accent to more economic issues. Economic issues prevail, you see. That's why, from this point of view, I think the accession of these two countries to the Union is a positive act, I would say. And on the other hand, we should underline that Shanghai Cooperation Organization and the Eurasian Economic Union, these two organizations are complementary to each other, see? Because their aims are almost similar, you see, to develop economy. And we are a member of Eurasian Economic Union, and if India and Pakistan, they have already joined the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the free trade between the countries will be developed and will grow. And I think we will also benefit from this, this kind of decisions. See?
Let's talk about the Ufa summit of BRICS and SCO. What, in your opinion, are the main results?
First of all, we should underline that these two summits are being held together because Russia is chairing both BRICS and also SCO. And that's why, if you remember, this kind of joint summit has been already held once before in Ekaterinburg, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Now it is being held for the second time. And BRICS summit has been already held, and the main results, I would say, BRICS member states are trying to create their common bank of development. You see, this is the most serious part of this declaration, which was adopted in Ufa. And some other countries are very cautious. You see, new financial institutes are emerging. You see, except, for example, taking into consideration, for example, World Bank or International Monetary Fund, they are very strong financial institutions. And if this bank emerges, it's on the way of emerging, and it will be competitive. See, it will be it will compete with those financial institutions. Some experts say that this will somehow they will be rival institutions. But Russian experts, I listened to the speech of Russian finance minister. He said, we are not rivals, but the emergence of these kind of financial institutions will be complementary to each other. See, and we must take into consideration that speech too. Yes, but of course, the United States and other Western European countries are closely watching, observing the summit in Ufa, because it is becoming a very serious one. Of course, it's too early to say that multipolar world order have been created, but the axis of world order is moving from the west to the east. That's clear. See, that's clear. Taking into consideration the activity of China and Russia, and also India is also very active. And by the way, we should also underline that Hassan Rouhani's visit from Iran, he also held a number of bilateral negotiations being there in Ufa. And I think our president has also held a negotiation with Rouhani. And the situation in the world is changing very rapidly, you see. But one thing is very important. Instead of sanctions, these kind of summits, their aim is to provide economic development. You see, when economic development, economic issues prevail, peace is more stable. You see, that's the main point we should say. But who knows? Very many changes might happen in future. And after this summit, perhaps very many negotiations will be held, and very many positive documents will be adopted, and the world will be quite different.
Greece has sent to the Eurogroup new proposals to reach agreements with the creditors. The document envisages defense budget cuts, increase in VAT, luxury tax and tax on advertising. In addition, Athens will make amendments in social reforms. The country's pension system will be reviewed. In response, lenders will have to provide Greece 35 billion euros over 3 years until 2018. Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras expressed hope that this time, finally, the long-awaited agreement would be reached.
The Greeks supported their prime minister and voted against the creditors' bailout in the referendum on July 5th. Thus, austerity measures and cuts in budget spending in exchange for new loans were rejected as 61% of Greeks voted no to the new referendum. The EU leaders decided to make concessions that allowed the Greeks to develop a new package of reforms. Having considered the proposals of the Greeks, the IMF and the creditors will decide whether they will accept the terms offered by Athens or not. By the way, this decision will be made on July 12th as an extraordinary meeting of the Eurogroup. Meanwhile, a key player from the Greek negotiators group, Greek Finance Minister Yanis Varoufakis, resigned from his post immediately after the referendum. He explained his decision, saying he wanted to give Alex Tsipras more power to lead the government in reaching an agreement with creditors. Previously, the members of Eurogroup noted that with participation of Varoufakis in negotiations, a joint agreement would have been achieved much earlier. Yukit Sakalotis was appointed a new finance minister of Greece. The IMF bailout program ran out on June 30th. The government and Tsipras failed to repay a debt of 1.54 billion euros. Later, the parties couldn't agree on a program of reforms and fiscal austerity. While IMF leaders and the Greek government are trying to reach a consensus, Greece is faced with a threat of cash shortage. Banks in the country have remained closed over the past 2 weeks. A limit of 60 euros per day was imposed for withdrawals from the ATMs. The situation may worsen if a new agreement is not achieved. The process will be fast. Our proposals will be ready by the end of the week. We will achieve a better deal for our people and will come out of the crisis. The negotiations will be crucial. We will hear the new proposals of Athens and make a final decision. On Sunday, we will say yes or no.
So, Mr. Akhmetov, an unspoken opponent of new loans from lenders has left the bloc of Greek negotiators. Would you think that the new Minister of Finance will help to reach the agreement?
I would say yes, because the former finance minister of Greece was a very tough negotiator, and he was not well accepted by the creditors, as you know, because he held several negotiations with the creditors, and they didn't find a common language, I would say. And now, after the referendum, he stepped down. I think this was a right step, right decision, because the new finance minister seems to be very positive person and not tough negotiator. And from now on, I think very positive decision will be made, I would say. But we should also underline one very serious fact. Greece, though made a decision, held a referendum which said no to bailout or the conditions of the creditors, but nevertheless, half of the population of Greece doesn't want to get out of Eurozone, European Union, you see. And if you take the European Union countries, they are also very cautious. If Greece goes out of the Union, this will be the beginning of the collapse, future collapse of the Union. That's why.
Do you think so?
I think seriously so, because they are very, very cautious, and that's why they are taking compromising decisions, you see. And they still give time to Greece to make their proposals, very serious proposals, and I think the next Sunday everything will be decided, either yes or no. But my feeling is that Greece will stay in the Eurozone. See?
But if Greece would like to stay in the Eurozone, they should agree with the austerity measures.
But the new proposals include some decisions already, some proposals. And judging by these proposals, I think Greece will stay, and the creditors will take into consideration their proposals, and they will find, I think, they will make the right decision. I hope so.
I'm quite skeptical, because additionally 35...
I am more optimistic.
Because according to the referendum, that shows that Greek people, they don't like austerity measures at all.
But half of them...
But without tough austerity measures...
But we should also mention that half of the people, they don't like either, you see. But in spite of that fact, they would like to stay within the Eurozone, you see. Because Greek was one of the first country accepted to the European Union. And if it's kicked off. It will be the first European country which goes out of the Union. And it might have a very negative effect on the whole European Union, not only on the whole European Union, but on the whole world, you see. I read the mass media of the Western European countries and the United States, and the different opinions are being discussed. But I would say, but my deep feeling says that Greece will stay within the zone. At the end of the day, they will find the right decision.
Astana marked its 17th anniversary this week. Large-scale celebrations were held across the country for 3 days. The city acquired the official status of the capital in 1998. Since 2006, Kazakhstan has been marking July 6 as the Day of Astana. In just 17 years, a small town in the midst of the Kazakh steppes has turned into a modern, fast-growing and important city, which hosts international summits, high-level fora and meetings, and where crucial decisions are made. Astana is rightly regarded as the center of the Eurasia. Its unique location is a top priority for the influential foreign investors, giving economic boost to the region. In just a few years, Astana has transformed and has turned into a city attractive for business and tourists.
Kazakhstan's main city, Astana, is a young, beautiful, and a very attractive city. Its population is growing quickly, and soon it will exceed 1 million people. Every year, hundreds or even thousands of people from the country's region arrive in Astana to attend the events marking the day of the capital. Senior officials and heads of foreign states also attend the celebrations. This year, Nursultan Nazarbayev, as well as the president of Kyrgyzstan, Almazbek Atambayev, and former president of Turkey, Abdullah Gül, enjoyed the spectacular event, a laser show on the river Yesil together. The performance was full of fascinating special effects and musical accompaniments consisted of works of famous Kazakh composers. The show was held on the stage of 1,000 square meters in size. Fan-shaped fountains formed a water screen which reflected the mass holograms. Given the number of fireworks and sound effects, the show was recognized as the most bold and ambitious in the past few years. Astana hosted about 70 events during the 3 days of celebrations on the main squares of the capital, including an art festival, International Young Talents Festival, Shatuk, Festival Illusionist Magic Astana, and others. Moreover, the best cooks of Astana prepared the world's largest serving of beshbarmak to make the 17th birthday of Astana more memorable. Kazakh national dish is weighing more than 700 kilograms has entered the Guinness Book of Records. It took 900 kilograms of horse meat, 300 kilograms of dough, and about 5 hours to cook. All the ingredients were cooked in 10 separate pots. The national dish was available for tasting for everyone. Festivities ended with spectacular fireworks. Local leadership in global competition is a formula that we shall follow. As we can see, Astana is already working on the implementation of this idea. Astana has already become an important educational medical hub not only for Kazakhstan but also for Russia and Central Asia. The program Nerli makes sure to connect the regions of Kazakhstan with the center of the country, Astana. Project Silk Road makes Astana an important city of the Eurasian space. Holding the international exhibition Expo 2017 proves the technical leadership of Kazakhstan and shows our achievements to the world, especially in the field of alternative energy.
So, Mr. Akhmetov, in your opinion, what's the highlights of Astana Day celebrations that the Kazakh people will remember?
I think this year Astana's Day was celebrated very widely, and a lot of people participated and enjoyed the celebration. If you take only one fact, for example, this laser show on the Yesil River was participated by the president, accompanied by 2 more high-level persons, the president of Kyrgyzstan and also former or ex-president of Turkey, Abdullah Gül. And people enjoyed all the attractions. And besides that, art festival was held just on this boulevard, and I paid attention to horses. They were divided.
You counted.
I counted. On one point, I saw 58 horses, and on other point, I saw 17 horses. 17 horses meant the 17th anniversary of Astana. And if you add these 2 numbers, you'll have 75. That means 75 is also a very important date.
Absolutely.
And absolutely. It is President's birthday, you see, his anniversary. And that's why these two celebrations came together, and I think people enjoyed. And not only enjoyed, people are citizens of Astana, and the guests are very proud. First of all, every Kazakh citizen, every Kazakhstan citizen is proud of Astana. Astana, as you have just mentioned, is becoming a very big center of negotiations, of different fora and different meetings, international meetings. And we should underline that in 2010, Astana was the venue when the summit of OSCE was held very successfully in Astana. That's why I often go through the cities, through the streets of Astana, and convinced that from day to day Astana is growing widely. Now the population has grown. I think about 1 million people already live here, and a lot of constructions, a lot of construction sites, and Expo 2017 is very close. I think a quite new city is emerging in the center of Astana. See, all these things makes one to be proud, makes one be proud of Astana. I think this celebration was very impressive, if we conclude in one word, very impressive.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akhmetov, for your brilliant, as always, comments, for the great discussion. Hope to see you in a new season.
Thank you.
Our program goes on vacation, and the next time I will see you in late August. Thank you for staying with us. Best of luck and goodbye.